Once upon a time in beautiful England, there was a girl who woke up one morning and said, "Last night the stars were so bright. I want to go visit the stars. I want to catch one in my own hand." Now she told her parents and her friends, and they just sort of laughed at her, saying, "No one can find the stars. They're far too far away." But this girl, she thought and thought of what she could do. And that night, she sneaked out of the house and walked down to the little pond at the edge of their farm. And there she saw the stars twinkling on the surface of the water. She said, "Pond, pond, do you have the stars?" And the pond said, "Sure, they keep me awake all night long twinkling on my surface. Why don't you jump in and see if you can catch one?" And sure enough, the girl jumped into the water and splashed and grabbed, but all her hands touched were water. And as she moved the water so much in the pond, the stars disappeared completely, until she climbed out of the water and looked at them again. "No, the stars aren't here," she said. And she began walking downstream from the little creek that came out of the pond, and she saw them. Right there, little stars twinkling in the creek as it went down the hill. She thought, that must be where they are. "Stream, stream, do you have the stars?" The stream said, "Of course I do, of course I do. Reach in and grab them." And once again, she reached down and tried to grab stars out of that creek, but all she touched was water and the occasional bright pebble. But that's not the same thing as a star. "You don't have the stars either," said the girl. "Of course I do. Well, at least I have the star's image. Isn't that the same thing?" And she said, "No. The picture and the thing are not the same." So she kept on walking down the creek, and down across a great big field, a place she had never been before, and she heard a beautiful music off in the distance. She followed the sound of that music and came to a hill where the little people were dancing, the elves. And she called out to the elves and said, "Elves, elves, I'm looking for the stars. Do you have the stars?" And some of them smiled and said, "Come over here, girl, and dance with us. You'll see the stars twinkling on the grass as we dance around." And so she joined them, and in a great circle dance with the elves, she went round and round. But she didn't see any stars. The bit of twinkling they had was just elfin magic. And so, after dancing for a while, she let go their hands and went off to sit down on the grass. A little while later, one of the elves dropped hands and walked over to her. He was a very short elf with a tall pointed hat, and he said, "You know, girl, if you really want to find the stars, it'll take a long trip. But if that's where you're going to go, you might as well know how to get there." And so he told her, "You need to go on 4 feet till you can't go anymore, and then take no feet to the stairs that have no steps. Follow that path, and you'll be touching the stars. But it's not an easy one to go on." "That's okay," said the girl. "I didn't think this trip would be easy anyway." And so she went down the path. And that path turned into a road, and as she was walking on the road, she started feeling nervous that she might have taken the wrong turn. And then she turned a corner and saw a great gray horse with a saddle on its back, sitting under a rowan tree. She went up to the horse and said, "Horse, can you help me find the stars?" And the horse said, "My job is only to follow the wishes of the fairies and the elves that live here in the field." "Well, that's perfect," said the girl. "For an elf told me I should take 4 feet till he can't go anymore, and then take no feet to the stairs that have no steps." "Ah, I know how to go there," said the horse. "I've got 4 feet after all. Climb on my back." And the girl climbed on the back of the horse, and he ran at a brisk pace down out of the hills into the seashore. And when he came to the edge of the sea, the girl could see a silver path right under the water, off into the distance. "This is as far as I go, girl. Climb off. You must continue on your own." And so the girl slid off the horse's back. And as she came and looked into the sea, she saw a great big fish. And she said, "Fish, I need your help. The elves told me to take 4 feet to a place where there's no feet. And when I get to the place with no feet, then no feet will take me to the stairs that have no steps. Can you do that for me?" "Of course I can," said the fish. And the fish rose up out of the water. The girl climbed on the fish's back, and the fish twitched his tail and swam off along that silvery road, all the way to the horizon. And on the horizon the girl saw a great big arch of colors. Red, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, all the colors of the world. It was a rainbow after all. The fish said, "Be careful. It's hard to climb these stairs with no steps." But the girl carefully climbed off the fish's back and carefully began walking up the rainbow. It took her hours, it felt like. There were times when she thought she might give up, but she said, "I've come this far, I can't give up now." And she walked all the way to the top of that rainbow, and she could feel the cold wind blowing. But when she looked up now, she saw stars spinning and jumping and running far, left and right, up and down, close enough to touch. And as she reached out, she could feel the warmth of a star landing right in the palm of her hand. But then she heard the wind blowing harder and the cold getting worse. And she was about to turn to look for her way down when suddenly she felt herself slip, and she fell down the other side of the rainbow, down and down and down, and everything went black. When next she opened her eyes, she was in her very own bed, and the sun was shining. And she thought to herself, "Did I find the stars? Did I touch a star with my hand?" And when she opened her hand, she saw in her palm tiny bits of stardust. And she knew that she had. And they say every day after that, every Midsummer's Eve, she would take a special cake to the fairies as a thank you for how they helped her find the stars. And that's the end of the story.